I don't know if it'll go as long as it says, but I just wanted to check in and give you my testimony of what I saw in Tennessee and North Carolina. Um, who am I? Nobody. I'm nobody important. So, I mean, you can check me out. I'm not going to bullshit you either. I'm going to tell you what I saw. And if you don't, go see for yourself then. Don't believe me? Go see for yourself. But my wife and I loaded up. We got a bunch of pet supplies donated from a feed store, and then a local, I was at Summit Country Day. Their girls basketball team did an amazing job getting like bags of clothes together. And another lady that does like bundle baskets did a bunch of personal hygiene, razors, all that stuff. So my Dodge 2500 was loaded, strapped down. I'll put up pictures. We got some stuff later, and I'm not putting up pictures because I want credit. I don't. I'm trying to give you a picture. If you haven't seen for yours, whatever. So we loaded up. We left out of Cincinnati about 9 o'clock. We were going to the Bristol Speedway. It's a hurricane relief center. It only opens at 8 a.m., which I thought was stupid. Why aren't you running this 24/7? I understand now. We go in at as soon as they open, 7:45. I think we were in line. It's being run by the National Guard, and they're on it. They are. But the place is huge. It's like 16 Amazon distribution warehouses. There's just pallets of water and stuff. So, okay, so they were able to do the pet supplies, which is great because they'll be able to get them distributed. They won't take the used clothes, even though they were gently. My wife and I went through them. They were laundered. I get it, and it's because some people are assholes and bring bags of stuff that are dirty and crusty and bed buggy and everything else. Because some people just suck and don't understand the assignment of being a decent human being, but they can't take them. Okay. Well, these girls worked really hard getting it together. I don't want to just drive back to Cincinnati. I don't want to just drop it off at a St. Vincent de Paul down here, and I sure as hell don't want to mess with FEMA. So we start journeying. We were through Unicoi. And it's weird because in Tennessee, because it was like the high water mark, you didn't see the damage. Like it kind of looked like a windstorm, a high windstorm. There were some limbs down that, but you didn't really see it. So we keep going down, and we're talking. We got through Tennessee. The fire departments, the churches are inundated with supplies because the damage wasn't as bad in the further up you got into Tennessee. Now Knoxville and Pigeon Forge, we didn't, or not Knoxville, Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, we didn't even go to. They National Guard and sheriffs are just crawling through there because the looting's so bad because of all the high end stores. So we're like, well, screw it. We'll try to get to Asheville. That was like ground zero. So let's go to Asheville. So my wife and I start heading down, and we're stopping at places going, do you need anything? Like, no, we are stocked up. As we got just outside the Tennessee, North Carolina border, it started changing. You started to see more from the flood. And you know what it looks like when a river's been high and the debris is washed up and it's gotten stuck behind trees or something. That you start seeing that everywhere. And by now, I mean, we haven't slept. It's I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And we see a lady setting up a folding table, and there's like a four-car garage in the house, and she's setting up her sign that, aid station, whatever, supplies. So we pull in, and I was like, hey, this is what we have. Are you interested? Can you take it? And she's like, absolutely. So we got that unloaded, and so her husband they remodel houses, and he had cleared out his workshop completely to set up an aid station. I didn't realize how close we were. So we get everything unloaded, and it's like, what do we want to do now? Well, maybe people need stuff delivered. Let's see if we could be a hand. So we saw a TikTok video about a nursing home that needed hands, help. EMT, my wife's EMT trained, people with medical training, also armed security. Look, if you don't know me, I used to work for the government, then I became a firearms CCW instructor. I'm down there, I'm like, okay, I used to have a security clearance, I'm a CCW holder, which is valid in Tennessee. I'm a CCW instructor. I teach people how to use guns, and I'm armed. I will go post up security. Now, I'm not John Wick, never claimed to be, but I can sit in a lawn chair with my Beretta and make sure no strangers come in and go, what are you doing? If you try to I can do that. I got a bottle of water, I'm good. So we decide, screw it, that's where we're going to go. We started trying to make our way there, and once you get into North Carolina, everything changes. We were traveling the road you see in all the videos along the river. That's what we were traveling. We got to the point. There were places where it was just one lane because it still washed out and they just had cones up. We got to the point there were no civilian vehicles. I think that we got a lot of where we were because my truck looks like a work truck. It's just a white Dodge 2500. We watched a semi go off the edge because the road collapsed under its weight. It didn't go completely off, but they're going to have to tow it out. And it was heartbreaking. There were hillsides where it looked like a giant just took its hand and went, whomp, where all the trees and mud and everything just came down. On the road where we were, the river is 10, 12 feet below us. The high water line was above the road on this side, 12 feet into the trees. For those who have seen it, the only thing that was missing were the craters from where bombs hit. That's what it looks like because the water was so much and so much force, it just leveled everything. And then the weird thing is then once the water receded, it's gone. But the aftermath, we saw so many people just dragging stuff out of their homes where they were going to have to burn it or get rid of it because it was unsalvageable. Because and the stink, it's those drainage ditches you get along the side of the road, like out in the country, when those are really bad in the summer, take that and a chemical smell, and I don't know, something else. Like my heart breaks. It was such an emotional thing between you would be so sad and then so mad thinking about how this was done to those people. This was not force majeure. Look up cloud seeding, look up HARP, look up lithium mines, whatever. That's another TikTok, and there's a billion of them out there. Just go research it. To being so proud to see, like, once you get into the really disaster zone, if the people are there, they're either cooking out, feeding the linemen. Oh, they're everywhere. They are doing an amazing job. They should be there. They're like the national bird of North Carolina right now. The linemen they're doing great. The National Guard that we saw there were on it. They were moving. There were a lot of sheriffs that looked like they came right out of the cast of Super Troopers. And what's weird is there was no identification. It was sheriffs on their little tack vest. But it wasn't like South Carolina, North Carolina, which was just weird. And most of them were sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing. And this isn't a dig at sheriffs. One of my best friends is a sheriff, so I'm just telling you what I saw. Take it for what you want. But it was the citizens, just the people, that, man, if they couldn't dig things out, they were cooking out, feeding the people that were. These people are going to need help for months. This isn't a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week fix. And so we got to get organized. We got to get a plan. There was a guy that showed up with a front loader and 2 Bobcats going, I just want to help. What can I dig out? What can I move? And they're like, we don't know where to tell you to go. So do what you can do, but be organized about it. And that's the next step that we got to figure out is what do they need? And that's where there's enough resources now. Contact, reach out, talk to the fire departments in these counties, talk to the churches. You can just Google them. Google the county and churches and start calling private organizations. Anyway, I will put up some pictures just to share with you what we experienced, and this is just one person's testimony. Take it for what it's worth. And again, if you're asking yourself, well, what can I do? I don't know. What can you do? Do as much as you can. And if you can't do anything else, pray.